Welcome back to my channel, everyone. 3 tips here. What I have here is some 14K gold scrap, 45.8 grams, 0 to scale, 10K scrap, that's 31.7 grams. I've determined that I need 78 grams of sterling silver to quart this gold. I'm going to use some pieces of scrap sterling silver jewelry, and this should equal what we need, 77.6 grams. That's close enough. I'm going to take this out and melt it up and quart this carat gold for refining.
So we'll dump off this water, put this metal in a beaker and start pulling the silver and the base metals out with nitric acid. I'm adding some distilled water, about 100 milliliters. And now I'm going to add some nitric acid. I'm going to start pulling the silver and the base metals out with nitric acid. Put this up on the heat. Let this react.
Getting a little behind on my waste treatment. I bought this bundle of copper wire out at the flea market for $100, and I've got a coil of it. I'm going to add it to my stock pot in here. This is some of my gold refining waste. What we're going to do is add this into the stock pot now. The solution in this temporary waste container could contain traces of precious metals, mostly platinum group metals, and I'm adding this solution to my stock pot. This is my other temporary waste container. It's full of gold refining waste, could contain traces of precious metals, so I add it to the stock pot. It contains copper. Any precious metals in this solution will cement out on the copper and fall to the bottom of the stock pot. Now we'll cover this up, and I set it outside under a rain cover and bubble some air through it to create movement. This is the 5th nitric acid boil. What we're going to do now is pour this off into a container here. We can reuse this acid. Now we're going to add some distilled water. I'm going to set it back up here on the heat and boil this in a little bit of distilled water. While I'm waiting for the gold to boil in some distilled water, I'm going to pull this up and show you that we're estimating the yield for this batch of carat scrap to be 39.9 grams of pure gold. It's been boiling in distilled water now for about 15 or 20 minutes. The gold right there looks excellent. It's nearly pure. nearly 3/9 fine, just like it is without any further refining. But the only way to really get it to 3 nines is to refine it with some Aqua Regia. And so that's what we're going to do right now. I'm going to set this up on this electric burner here. We're going to illuminate this with some special lighting so you can see real good. And now what I'll do is put this thing on time lapse. I'm going to first add some hydrochloric acid. Then I'm going to add a few milliliters of sulfuric acid to take care of any lead. And then I'm going to add 5 3-milliliter doses of nitric acid. And we're going to dissolve this gold with Aqua Regia. This has been on boiling now for took about 15 minutes. I'm going to take this down off the heat now. Set it down over here and let it cool off. Now we'll add some ice to cool this down. Let's add a filter. Now we'll filter the solution. There's a little bit of solids down on the bottom. That's probably not even gold. And I did not waste the time or the acid to try to get that to dissolve. There's our insoluble material up there. Looks like it might be some gemstones or some other kind of material that did not dissolve in the Aqua Regia. This is the trash in our filter. Let's go ahead and rinse all the color out of our filter now. Got everything pulled through the filter now. What we'll do is, here's our filter. See, there's some junk in there. We'll add that to the paper storage. But for now, what we'll do is transfer our liquid. This is our gold-bearing solution. It looks outstanding, nice and clear. That is a testament to how well coating with silver and imparting with nitric is at cleaning this gold up. Here's our gold-bearing solution. Let's do a quick Stannous test here, which is always a good idea. Make sure that we've got gold in solution. There you can see that dark stain tells us we've got plenty of gold in our solution. I've got this all set up now. What we're going to do is add some stump out. Stump out is sodium metabisulfite. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try a slow motion on this precipitation. Here we go. That slow motion footage took up 1.5 minutes of video. Now what we'll do is reach in here and get another Stannis test. Make sure that we've got all the gold dropped out of our solution. And there you got it. That negative Stannis test means that all of the gold has dropped out of that solution. I've allowed the gold to settle for about a half hour. Now we're going to pour off the waste into this temporary waste container. Now we're going to add some hydrochloric acid. And we're going to put this up on heat and give this gold a boil with some hydrochloric acid. It's been on boiling now for a few minutes. I'm going to pour this off. My goodness, this gold looks really good down in here. The temptation is to put it in a melt dish and melt it into an ingot, but I'm not going to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to put it down here on this burner again and redissolve it. I'm going to begin by adding some hydrochloric acid. Let's put in a few drops of sulfuric acid, just in case any lead has made it this far. Not much. Now what I'm going to do is put it on time lapse again, and we're going to add about 15 milliliters of nitric acid. I'm going to add some heat to it. We're going to start heating this up and redissolve this gold a second time. I'm going to do that on time lapse. Here we go. Got everything to go into solution. That took about 15 minutes. And now we're going to pull this down off the heat and just let it cool down. I've added ice. Let's go ahead and filter our solution now. Pulled everything through the filter. Filter is very clean looking. We'll add that to our paper storage. Now we're going to add the gold bearing solution. Look how crystal clear that is. Beautiful. Put it in this beaker. And what we'll do, precipitate out the pure gold now. See if we can do this all in one take. Alright, let's get our stump out, which is sodium metabisulfite. Let's get the camera right here. And let's precipitate out the pure gold. Here we go. Just about do it. I've allowed it to settle for about 15 minutes. I'm going to pour this off now and rinse it off real good. I would normally do a hydrochloric acid boil at this point, but I think what we're going to do is just go ahead and get this into a melt dish just like it is and see what happens. Let's take this gold over to the melt table now and melt us up an ingot. Here's our pure gold bar that we just poured. Double refined. My goodness, that thing looks gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. It's got a little piece of flux that came over. And adhere to the bar, we can get that off with some dilute sulfuric acid. Let's see, we were expecting 39.9 grams. 38.5, which is pretty much close to what we should get. This thing looks awesome. I just cannot describe to you. The camera doesn't do it justice. This thing is just stunning. So that will complete this video. I'd like to thank everybody for watching.